Hi, it's Sarah Taylor. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to jump right into the colors and then we'll talk more about this painting. So this is like a nice phthalo green, and then that is a little bit of mica powder mixed with some Charvin Anise green, and then that is Quinacridone Nickel Gold. Those are acrylics, and these are all pigments. So this is a ColourArt pigment. It's two of their different colors mixed together. I will list these in the description so you know exactly what I'm working with here. That's like their fuchsia color, and then another pigment mix. So those are all ColourArt pigment. And then this is actually, I started with a pink Amsterdam acrylic ink, and then I added in some Charvin acrylic into that as well. And then that's kind of a nice dark, it's a black acrylic ink and some burnt umber acrylic paint. And then that's another ColourArt pigment. So, and then I pulled a bunch of different things down. That's an airbrush medium, golden high flow fluorescent blue, golden high flow iridescent pearl. And these are all wonderful different types of paint. And then the GAC Magic, it's, I'll also put the recipe below for that paint. That's a mix paint that is inspired by MelyD, who I love. And oh my gosh, all these tools I'm playing with, a catalyst, a brush, some palette knives, just some different silicone tools. And those are all RGM traditional series palette knives that I adore. They're in my Amazon shop. So over here, I'm working on today this is actually a 20 by 24 inch canvas. And I did, this is the second of a 3-part series focused on color and composition for some neat fluid art abstract paintings. So sort of the inspiration here, there's an artist that I really like. His name's Josh Jensen. He's on Instagram. And just kind of this free motion of creating. I didn't really have a set plan for this. It was kind of spontaneous and intuitive. And I started with that alcohol ink, or the acrylic ink kind of beige color. I put that down first, and then I put some of that black and raw umber down. And then that's this blue ColourArt pigment. And pretty much everything here is mixed with like Liquatex pouring medium, GAC 800, and water. And there is some different formulas happening depending on the product. Whether, you know, the pigments, usually I go ahead and start it. I wet it with some Liquatex pouring medium and a bit of water, and then I go in with a little GAC 800 and even some Floetrol if you want to stretch it a little bit. And then that green mix, that was a really kind of an interesting thing. It was some, I think it was actually a hippie crafter, like lime green mica powder. And then I mixed in some of the Charvin Anise green, which I'm just adoring. It's a really beautiful paint. So kind of the concept here is to get some of these colors and these different, these different medias down, work with them together and kind of let the edges touch and let them work together and kind of blend. And as you know, what I love about ColourArt is how they bleed out into other paints. So they have this really unique quality of bleeding. I actually feel like when you mix them together, it's almost like you're working with an ink or with a really high quality fluid acrylic paint. It can be a good thing for some artists and maybe a challenging thing depending on what you're doing with them. So I love it. When you put those pigments down, and then I'm putting in some of that GAC Magic, which is just titanium white by Golden Fluid mixed with GAC 800 and a little bit of Decoart white satin enamel. And the pigments want to encroach into that white paint. They sort of have a little party, and they bleed and blend and work their way in. And then I think the alcohol inks here, I'm sorry, they are not alcohol inks, they're acrylic inks. And in the first little painting I showed you, the preliminary painting that I did use a bit of alcohol ink, and I decided not to in this painting. I thought it just didn't quite work the way I wanted it to work. So, you know, this is just playing with paint. I've got some things that I have in mind coming up, and probably going to be going back to more of my pearl paintings and sort of linear abstract arts using fluid paint. But this was something that I really wanted to do a series of, just to kind of get it out of my system. And when you start working with different product, like all these ColourArt pigments that I've been playing around with, and then you get curious about what they'll do. So, you know, the ColourArt's down, and now I'm coming back in with these really highly pigmented, like that's golden fluid, Nicolazzo gold, and, you know, just adding some pops of color into it. But this is all about experimentation and curiosity, and seeing what happens when you put some different types of paint together and just kind of have some fun with them on the canvas. And this was a very kind of spontaneous project. I just was mixing up a bunch of paint, and I ended up bringing them all down quite a bit with water, and then mixing up some of these different acrylic inks to play with, and this just sort of happened. So yeah, I hope you guys like it, and there's a third painting coming in the same style and color palette. So, you know, the process of figuring out composition and what you like and what you don't like, this is a really great way to do it. At least it really works well for me, is to start on a smaller format, and then I change some things from that smaller format, you know, up until this larger format. And then when I go onto the largest canvas, I change even more, and I adapt to what I like and what I don't like. You know, I think the bottom portion of this canvas was a little bit too round, so I stayed away from that on the third painting. But, you know, I just like to feel energy flowing all the way through the canvas and taking a step back and looking at it, even, you know, kind of blurring your eyes a little bit and trying to feel where it's stuck, you know, where it needs to move, and just letting your imagination kind of take hold, and that intuitive process of balance and what appeals to you. That's what it's all about. So I hope it's inspiring. I hope you enjoyed this, and there's another one coming. So you guys take really great care, and much love coming into your spring. I hope you're feeling some great energy. All right. We'll talk soon. Bye.